Mumbai Indians have traditionally been very good in auctions. Last year they missed a trick or two and they would want to fill those gaps this year. What is their biggest challenge? If you look at the matrix, the ones in red are a fast bowler and an all-rounder. These are two slots which they need. The fast bowler is basically a backup for Jasprit Bumrah in case he's not available, and an all-rounder is someone who can play the role what Kieron Pollard or Ben Cutting would do. Mumbai Indians would need a left-arm quick if possible, so they may go for Jaydev Unadkat, or they would go for the likes of Varun Aaron, Mohit Sharma or Mohammad Shami. Mumbai Indians have traditionally been good at unearthing some new Indian talent, domestic talent. We have seen that with Hardik Pandya and Kunal Pandya. So who knows, they may find an Indian pacer who may be the best replacement for Jasprit Bumrah. Royal Challengers Bangalore have made an unusual trade leading up to the auction. They have traded Mandeep Singh for Marcus Stoinis, and Marcus Stoinis may not even be available through the tournament. So they need a backup for Marcus Stoinis during this auction. So if you actually look at their matrix, they need a backup keeper, they need an all-rounder, and they're pretty good with their bowling. So who is Bangalore likely to go for? Bangalore would want to go for an Indian wicketkeeper or an overseas wicketkeeper if possible. The potential options are again Nicholas Pooran, Luke Ranchi and Glenn Phillips. If they're looking at an overseas all-rounder, someone who can come and play the role of a finisher after AB de Villiers and Virat Kohli, you cannot look too much in this auction because the number of options are very limited. They may go for Angelo Matthews or James Neesham. Kings XI Punjab walk into this auction with a lot of money. Although they started the first half of last year's IPL very well, they kind of revamped the entire team. With a new coach in Mike Hesson and Ashwin leading the way, they would look for complete squad change this year. They've retained just 10 players and they have close to 36 crores with them. So who are they likely to buy and what are their gaps? The biggest gap for them is an overseas all-rounder. They did release Aaron Finch last year and traded Marcus Stoinis. So they would need an overseas all-rounder. And if you actually look at the matrix, they need all slots because they have only 10 guys. So they need backups for every single role. Kings XI Punjab are likely to go for Brendan McCullum to support Chris Gayle. They may also want an overseas opener or middle order batsman. They may go for Colin Ingram or Shimran Hetmyer or even Nicholas Pooran maybe. With respect to the Indian contingent, they would want to buy back Akshar Patel and they would want to go for Varun Chakravarti, who's a Tamil Nadu mystery spinner who can maybe play the role what Mujib played last year. Hopefully a name change changes their fortune this time. Delhi Daredevils have become Delhi Capitals. They've gotten Shikhar Dhawan into their scheme of things and they've traded 3 players. This makes them have a very, very good 11 on the plate, but they would want to fill their backups and gaps very soon in this auction. The Delhi Capitals would look to go for an Indian middle order batsman. That means it's Shivam Dubey again, or Anmol Preet Singh, or Manoj Tiwari as well. But when you look at the other slots with respect to overseas all-rounders, they may want to go for Corey Anderson, Jimmy Neesham, or maybe Angelo Matthews. Last year's champion Chennai Super Kings haven't really tinkered with their team. They've retained most of their squad and they just have 2 slots remaining and both are Indians. They are most likely to go for a left-arm fast bowler who's not present currently in their squad and maybe a spinning backup for Harbhajan Singh. With 8.4 crores remaining, Chennai Super Kings are likely to go for just 2 bowlers. One could be either Jaydev Unadkat if he comes at a good rate, or buy back Mohit Sharma, whom they lost 2-3 years ago. The other potential option could be a backup for Harbhajan Singh, which is Varun Chakravarti again. He's a local boy, but I'm really not sure if they can actually afford him. The best bowling team of IPL 2018 actually traded Shikhar Dhawan for 3 players in the trade window. What does that do to their setup? They actually got 3 more players, which makes their 11 or maybe even 15 a formidable one. They would require one major backup for Billy Stanlake, who's injury prone, and they would like to buy a similar skill set, which is a 140 plus quick. And the other option, which is their weak link, is their wicketkeeper. They do have only Shivats Goswami today, and they would need a backup for Shivats Goswami. With Warner likely to be unavailable during the tournament, they would want a wicketkeeper batsman who can open. So who are they likely to target? They could go for Nicholas Pooran, they could go for Luke Ranchi, they could go for Glenn Phillips. The other option for them is to go for a backup quick for Billy Stanlake. You have Lasith Malinga, who was a mentor last year at Mumbai Indians. You have O'Shane Thomas, and you can even look to buy Dale Steyn. KKR have always been very, very good at auctions. However, last season they lost a lot of players to injuries. Their core is dependent on 3 overseas players in Chris Lynn, Andre Russell and Sunil Narine. The biggest gap KKR has is that of an overseas quick. They lost Mitchell Starc and Mitchell Johnson. They would look to go for a 140 plus bowler. KKR would also need to fill up all the other slots as they need enough backups to make the squad of at least 18. KKR's biggest problem is going to be to find a 140 plus bowler. So who are their options? Similar to Sunrisers, they need to go with O'Shane Thomas or Ali Khan, who played for Trinbago Knight Riders, or maybe go back to the old warhorse of Dale Steyn and Lasith Malinga. One interesting team is Rajasthan Royals. They've retained 4 overseas players and all 4 of them may not be available during the course of the tournament. You have Steven Smith, Josh Butler and Ben Stokes to go on national duty, and you have Jofra Archer who could be eligible to go for national duty. So their biggest gap is now to use those 21 crores to buy these backups for these 4 slots. So you need a wicketkeeper batsman for Josh Butler, you need an all-rounder for Ben Stokes, you need an overseas batsman for Steven Smith, and maybe a 140 plus bowler in Jofra Archer. Rajasthan Royals could be party poopers this auction because they need to target people for all roles and they're likely to compete with a lot of teams. Their 20 crores would come in very handy if they're able to unearth some Moneyball picks. They would like to go for Colin Ingram on top. They would like to go for Luke Ranchi as a replacement for Josh Butler and maybe go for some 140 plus bowler who may not come at a very high price.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.